Greetings, this is Samir Garadia with Buck Showalter on Earth-Based Records News, and this is a recap of the war situation around the world, particularly in regards to Ukraine, but certainly the unfinished uh, peace in Korea with the Beijing Olympics ongoing. There are a few important points in this segment. This segment will focus on the economics of this world conflict situation, and actually, uh, the Olympics are central to this. Whether you want to support the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics that are ongoing is a part of the entire story, apparently, in the news. First and foremost, of course, the conflict is in Ukraine. There is an issue of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline, which basically it's a completed gas pipeline, and the United States actually, uh, mostly in regards to the conflict mainly between Rome, and this is from a faith perspective, a Peter versus Paul conflict regarding Nord Stream. It implicates itself all the way down to the battles for power in Jerusalem between traditionally Peter, the Orthodox, and Paul, the Catholic. This is, and of course, the Protestant bride of all this. In between this all is Germany. So, this is the best way from a church perspective to understand Nord Stream 2, and certainly there might be a Nord Stream 3, which would potentially take a pipeline all the way up, potentially to Greenland, which is the new frontier for mining and drilling, of course, with the melting ice caps. So there was Nord Stream 1, there's Nord Stream 2, and then there's Nord Stream. President Biden's threat to stop Nord Stream, which is already built pipeline, at least Nord Stream 2, if the Russians proceed with the war in Ukraine, is, I think mostly an effort to stop or prevent this war in Ukraine. We don't know if this war will actually happen. Hopefully, it won't. Obviously, there are businesses. Russia is deeply involved in Nord Stream 2, and we hope that Russia will not invade Ukraine. However, the truth from the videos on the ground is that there are soldiers on the ground. How to talk your way out of that? Now, um, from Joe Biden's perspective, the threat of stopping Nord Stream is an empty threat in a sense because, this is a business deal between Germany and Russia and the rest of Europe. So Joe Biden could certainly blow up Nord Stream, but that wouldn't be very good for our good ally Germany, which is receiving the gas. And future potential pipelines are implicated. I do commend our President Joe Biden, despite the paparazzi that like to kill each other in this situation, and we do not tend to give them advice whether it's a good idea or not. As far as Nord Stream, it's not going anywhere. It's already built, and as far as Russia, with 100,000 troops at the border of Ukraine, I would say that our president did, the best he could, but unless Joe Biden blows up Nord Stream, that isn't going anywhere. Now, with regards to the fragile peace in Korea, this peace has not yet even been accomplished. There are athletes. Yeah, you heard right. There are athletes in Beijing. Only 30 heads of state actually attended from the 200 plus countries, maybe 250 countries in the world. Only 30 countries sent their heads of state to the Beijing Olympics, and with the war potential in Ukraine, those athletes may be stuck in China for longer than expected. So that would explain why. Now, China said, "Look, don't worry, we'll take care of you, if you're here for the Olympics." But overall, we don't know. Now, the American side, the protest movement is against the factory products from China. But let me explain: America is the buyer. This is a peace effort. And the problem for Americans is, the chicken and the egg problem with China. We have deep roots, and I'm from India. My roots are in India, in the same part of the world, excuse me. So certainly, this is a chicken and the egg problem between the United States and China. Our allegiance to the country of origin for a lot of those products and even people. The origin country is China. By the way, by the time they pass through India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Germany into France and England and make their way to the United States, people, from that part of the world, they don't even look Chinese anymore. And the tug, from the ancestral country to the final destination country or the long-term residents, and myself included, speaking I think with a more Americanized accent than I did spend 3 years in early childhood in India. So people do change, and there's a tug of war between country of origin and where you end up. It does affect your physical appearance, the way you cut your hair, etc., wear your clothes. But more than that, education, culture, acculturation of the particulars of a particular country, the mixing with different ideations about mixing with other people between a place like China or even India, which are much more traditional, I assume, Germany, Ukraine. The same thing, the idea of mixing with other countries, people from other countries, is central to the American experience and unavoidable and not necessary to fight a war over, even if the home country finds it unusual. So, this is how I would explain the China situation as a tug of war between, the home country and the final destination country. As far as the situation in Ukraine, I see this as a battle between Peter and Paul over, the Magdalene, in this case, which would be Germany, a battle between Rome and Russia over Germany. Samir Garada signing off for Earth Based Records. Buck Showalter.